The town of Ravenswood, surrounded by an ancient forest, had an unspoken rule: never enter the forest after dark. I moved to Ravenswood seeking tranquility and was soon warned by my neighbour, Mrs. Thorne, about the forest. She spoke of strange occurrences, but I dismissed it as small-town superstition. Curiosity got the best of me one evening, and I ventured into the forest as the sun set. The deeper I went, the more unsettling the atmosphere became. The silence was oppressive, and I felt as though unseen eyes were watching me. Eventually I stumbled upon an old, dilapidated cabin in a clearing. Despite a sense of dread, I entered and found strange symbols carved into the doorframe, glowing faintly. Inside, the cabin was a mess, with furniture overturned and papers scattered. Among the debris, I found an old journal detailing dark rituals and an entity called the Whisperer, which could never be silenced once awakened. The final entry, written in a desperate hand, warned of the Whisperer's presence. Suddenly I heard rustling outside. I hid as a tall, thin figure with unnaturally long limbs passed by the window. It paused at the door and I held my breath, but it eventually moved on. Back home, strange occurrences began. I saw shadows moving and heard whispers at night. The townsfolk avoided me, clearly aware of my predicament but unable to help. Desperate, I returned to the forest to find a way to reverse the ritual, but the cabin had vanished without a trace. The forest now felt malevolent, and the presence of the Whisperer grew stronger. As days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder and more insistent. They knew my name and deepest fears, driving me to the brink of insanity. I realized too late that the Whisperer could not be banished. It had been awakened, and now it would never let me go. Now, as I write this, I hear the Whisperer outside my window calling my name. The townspeople were right to fear the forest. If you ever find yourself near Ravenswood, heed my warning. Do not enter the silent forest. Once the Whisperer has your name, it will never release its grip. Tonight, I know it will finally claim me.